we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, hello everyone. Welcome to what has now become an Ertha tradition. I'm very happy to see you all here. Most of you already know me. I'm Aeon, the lead community manager of Ertha, and it wouldn't be an Ertha stream without the man you all know, the brain, the heart, and the soul behind Ertha, Game Master Linus. Please welcome him in the chat. And Linus, how are you doing today?
Wow, what an introduction, Aeon. I'm doing quite well. Thank you for having me, and it's always great to see the community and answer questions directly.
Alright, so we are here today to bring you all up to speed about what's going on behind the scenes. As always, the community wants to know every single little detail about that, and well, we're here to provide as much information as we possibly can about what we're working on. So I will go over the schedule of today's event. First, we'll talk about what's next in store for Ertha, which includes what our developers are working on and the upcoming Ertha Beta version 0.2. Then, we'll show you an exclusive, brand new Ertha trailer, so make sure to stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss it. Then, we'll showcase some development leaks from the upcoming Ertha Beta version 0.2 update, which is planned to release in just a few short weeks. And finally, after our showcase concludes, we will be hosting an AMA where all of you will have a chance to submit questions for Linus to answer. And also one more thing, we also have some cool giveaways planned for our viewers. During the AMA, we'll be giving away Ertha tokens for the top questions that are selected. And also at the end of the stream, we are giving away an Ertha NFT hex, and we'll talk more about this later, so keep the stream open. Also make sure to share the stream to your friends, hit that follow button here on Twitch, which is just below the video player, and follow us on twitter.com/ErthaGame, and join our community on discord.gg/Ertha. Alright, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Linus, are you ready to start?
Oh yes, let's start.
Wonderful. So let's talk about this recent development update that we have posted and that we are working on behind the scenes. Can you describe the main focus of the current Ertha development?
Yeah, so currently one of our focuses is focusing on game client for Ertha. So we are listening to our community, even though we still will continue to support WebGL and browser compatibility throughout all the Ertha experience. Well, we really want to show what we're capable of doing with our game client. So with this, we will be able to enhance some of our graphical aspects, certain parts of our experience, raise the zoom levels, even the rendering distance, and more, and even possibly it would be easier to integrate multiplayer functionality to our city and building view, and it might take a bit sooner than we initially thought. So yeah, nonetheless, one of our major objectives is to provide functionality for our landowners. It's still in the works, and it won't be available on the soonest update, but a portion of our team is working really hard to bring it to fruition as quickly as possible. So yeah, and following our Ertha version 0.2 update, which will be covered in our next development update, it is now focused on character creation, which is like one of the most essential features of our game. It will include the whole character creation, which means you will be able to customize its looks, and you will be able to create the most essential parts of our character, which are the primary stats, secondary stats, its abilities like strengths, weaknesses, and potentially even select the first skills which you start with while you play the game.
All right, so you mentioned the Ertha client at the start. So like you said, this was mainly done, the development shift towards the Ertha client was mainly done due to the community feedback. So could we also talk about what possible maybe graphical upgrades we could include inside the Ertha client and similar things like that?
Indeed. Well, the main limiting factor of our development is actually focusing before on WebGL. It is the most limiting platform out there. It is even more limiting than what you would have on a mobile app. So you only have like one processor that you can use, and the browser is really limiting any functionality that you can use. But we still are able to have that 3D experience with all the stuff that we have planned. However, to reach the level of graphics that we are showing in our trailers and all the visual gameplay that is used when our graphical masters are doing their magic, that is all possible to go close to with our game client. So since we've seen a lot of questions why the game doesn't look like exactly how we're showing it on the trailers, we are going to work on showing what is possible with the game client, and that will potentially make it as close as possible in a game to what we're showing in the trailers.
Exactly, and not to mention just the graphical upgrades, the performance level you would be able to get out of someone's computer on a game client is just so much higher than on WebGL, correct? You basically have so much more at your disposal, where then you can think about things like adding much more textures, shaders, shadows, whatever the imagination can really just come up with. Basically, those possibilities would only be possible with Ertha game client, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. So when we have like a browser, it's so limiting that even when you have an older phone, you can achieve quite better graphical experience. But if you actually have a desktop or even a laptop computer that has let's say a dedicated graphics card, or even those new cards that are integrated but also really good to show some graphical content, utilizing that with our Ertha client will allow us to have almost unlimited like zoom levels and ability to see really far, which is a real good thing in our experience when we look at the city view and all the shadows, the gloom, the blur effects that we can add in it would potentially really change the feel of it. However, we still want it to be possible to run without downloading the client. So we will still keep all backwards functionality on the browser also. But, if you do, download the app and play it on your PC, Mac, or whatever, that will allow us to give you, a bit better experience for the whole game.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on to talking about landowner HEX development. So our landowners, I'm sure, are anticipating that update very much. So maybe there could be some things that you could mention that you haven't mentioned before. How's the process going towards giving that functionality to the Ertha beta?
Yeah, so probably the most... the difficult part of this creation is the fact that we have 360,000 hexes that we want to generate, and we even have 24,000 hexes that already are owned by the players, which when we release that functionality, I'm sure that all of them are expecting to see their own hex, their own experience on how it looks like, and it will not be the same for everyone. So we want to keep that uniqueness on all of these hexes. So we have to generate, all the terrain, and we want to do that as close as possible to our Earth that we have. So we are looking, on how to put the right terrain in that, because the Earth is really, really big. And our hexes are not that up so good to have them really, really big, as much as we have how many kilometers of space we have there. But we want to make it as good as possible. So that terrain generation with water, with even snow, sand, trees and stuff is also on the works. And not even talking about that we have cities that are sold, which will potentially in the start have some sort of city design on it. We have initially thought that it would be good to, let's say, generate all the cities for the landowners so that they could preview or maybe regenerate them with our AI that finds the best way to put those on. Now we've kind of shifted our focus to allow players to get those buildings and place them by themselves. So this is the focus that we are currently working on landowner update, is the ability to actually build the buildings, the roads, and all the stuff that can be built on the hex by our landowners themselves. So, and eventually we will want to have that experience, like you can either generate the hex for yourself or build it by yourself, but that's all in the future.
Okay, so this is new information, new exciting information. So basically, landowners will have much more functionality and customization to how they actually want to place their buildings, roads, properties, and things that can be placed on a hex. So basically, we're trying to provide our landowners the best experience possible so that they aren't just left disappointed by what could be generated automatically, but they will be actually able to build the whole hex themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And that is a big thing that we want to release. Games like SimCity were not built like in like a few months that we have here with our Unity game engine. We are doing it really, really in a short span of time, and we want to release the full game experience, by the end of the year, or at worst, by the start of the next year. So we have like time constraints here, and we are doing what we can do in this time in the best possible way to take what we had, from our alpha version, which was built on completely different engine, and put it into Unity game engine, which allows to have, those like real city experiences, the view when you can turn the city from the bird's view, and then you can even go into the city to see the first person look. So, it is quite a different experience. It's still the same game. We still will implement the same abilities that you've seen on our alpha version. But, what we want is to have that experience, of a real game instead of playing just a browser version of the world.
Yeah, so we mentioned before that a lot of the development timescale is still going to depend on the community feedback. So if the community really wants us to implement certain things like, let's say, better graphical features or similar, then the development time would obviously take a little bit longer. But maybe the community wants to just have the bare bones play-to-earn experience first, and then we could work. So it's basically what I'm trying to say is basically it's going to be mostly up to the community and what we see the feedback being, correct?
Exactly. We actually look at the feedback that we get from our community, and we try to strategize on how to bring what our community actually wants. Nevertheless, we are still building the game that we want to launch to the community. It's still it's the idea that we had, for years now. But yeah, we see our community as a part of our development team, and when we see great feedback, and when we see ideas that we maybe even haven't thought of them by now, we are definitely going to look into it, and if it's possible, we are going to shift our focus from one part to another when it's not when it's not doing any damage to our main schedule that we've built ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And, we've actually mentioned in our previous event, going back to the landowner hexes, that they could possibly be released in a few different steps. Maybe we should remind everyone about that maybe hexes that are basic hexes, just land or desert or water, could see the life of day really sooner than some others.
Exactly. We think that it will not be good to wait while we finish all of the 300 60,000 hexes. And since we have all the different types of hexes already sold, we will potentially give release out those hexes that are a bit easier for us to release a bit sooner than those that are really hard to make. And that's the plan that we have now, and we still will look into the feedback that we get from community. Maybe they will give us an idea on how to make the release even better, in a way. And if anyone has like ideas, we're open to discuss, and you can share them on either Discord, Telegram, or even on this live chat, and we'll look through it. But yeah, we're looking into it, but our development is as planned.
All right, wonderful. So let's move on to Ertha version 0.2, which is known as the character update. So could you mention what is that going to include? How will it look like or feel like?
Yeah, so what we want to present with this update is the character creation. So one of the main elements of what this game is going all about the character that you control. So the character is you, right? Your skills are what you have from your real life and what you bring into the game. So all the play to learn experience, when you have, if you are a good mathematician, for example, and you can solve some quizzes really fast that we actually built on the game, that means that you will be able to have, a great skill of mathematics in game. But to have that, we first have to create the character, and the whole process that we will release is the ability to actually customize and be able to set all the parameters of what is a character. So the character includes like the way it looks, obviously, and all the stats. So for example, how strong are you, how fast are you, how smart are you, are the ones are the things that you can tweak. And there are many other possibilities that we will present you when we have that update, which will be able to set the template for your character. So for example, if you want to become a businessman, maybe it's not that important for you to be really strong, but it's important for your character to be like really smart, so that it would have skills that require some, for example, stuff that will make it easier for your character to develop some of the blueprints of the game, to create, for example, new items in the game, which will make it possible for the character to use less energy and then create some item. So I'm going really into details here, but what we will present in the next development update is the ability to create that character. So this is what we're focused on, and this is what we want for the players to experience. It's like a small mini game that's all the things that you will select while you do that will really matter in the long term. So yeah.
Exactly. So it's basically the first step for Earthians to truly become part of the Ertha metaverse. They'll be creating their character, thinking of a name. Maybe they want to name themselves with a username. Maybe they'll use their real name as to sort of put themselves into the metaverse. The possibilities will really be quite endless to represent, for each Earthian to represent themselves in the metaverse. So, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we should move on to one of our main features we're showcasing here today, which is our brand new Ertha trailer. Unless, Linus, do you have something to add before we move on to that?
No, I think it's great to show what we have built. The idea that we want to showcase here is what we do with our trailers that we show. So I'm really excited to show to our community, what we have built over time and what we want to build.
Yeah, me too. It honestly just blows our previous trailer out of the water. And, well, it shows exactly what we're working towards, what we imagine the Ertha metaverse to become. So, all right, so after the trailer, we'll showcase some development leaks from the upcoming Ertha beta version 0.2 update we just talked about. So make sure to stay tuned. And, all right, ladies and gentlemen, get comfortable in your seats. And without further ado, here is the brand new exclusive Ertha Metaverse game trailer premiere.
Welcome to Ertha. What you see here is a simulated world, one that can be a better version of the real world that we almost destroyed with wars and ignorance. The first awakened from the cryosleep created it the way they preferred. Building real estate, selling it, or renting it out. I was born in Ertha, and I'm going to do things my own way. I'm going to succeed, and nothing will stop me. Or maybe I'll do it right after I settle down a bit. At least I can start off with designing my place the way I want. Or maybe the way we want. I'm going to work my butt off and earn enough to fulfill my vision of a new world. And nothing is going to stop me. Don't get me wrong, big city life, working in a company, or as a freelancer are all good options. But I always dreamed of luxury real estate. I know I'm really good at it. I'm going to be very successful. And guess what? Nothing is going to stop me. Someday I will see the real sky. But for now, I want to learn how to build the best world where I want to live in.
And there we go. That was the brand new trailer that will represent Ertha from now on, showcasing exactly what we're working towards. Let us know what you think about it in the chat. And Linus, could you please explain in your own words what we've just showcased? There's a ton of new information in the trailer that our viewers, well, should be excited about.
Yeah, so what you've been able to see is the new characters inside Ertha. This is the trailer that showcases the story of the character that actually was born inside Ertha, and he is continuing the work that the players who have been, who have awakened from the cryosleep have built on, and he wants to continue that. So with that, we want to show how our characters will look like inside Ertha with the abilities that the characters will be able to do. So obviously you will be one of our characters. This way you will own your own property, you will have a job that you will do, you will learn here to do some stuff, and essentially you can also become like even, let's say, government member or even the president of your own country. So the trailer is what we want to show people of how we imagine it to be. So the whole our graphical team, our designers are working real hard, to find the way on how to bring the idea that we have here into reality, and to bring these assets that we use here in these trailers, which are also actually the assets that we will use inside the game to render them in some way that we don't have yet all the things that we show here in trailers. We are building that. So this is the aspiration that we want to go to. So we really love this idea, and we're working hard to implement, to make everyone feel the story that we have here, to actually feel that when they play the game. So yeah, also we have, we showcase some of the UI elements inside this trailer. These are like the first versions of UI elements that we have. Are more like an idea of how it would look like. We already have like several versions on top of that. It's like iterating each week, to find, the right way on how to actually present that, on how to have all the information that you need, when you play with the game, but you can essentially see the idea on how it would look like. Yeah, we also showcase in this trailer our player interiors. Our goal is to make it able for the player to, produce his own home the way he wants to. We also believe that companies will be able to have their own offices, like real-life companies inside our Ertha experience, which also will provide them an ability to showcase what they do, in real world and have their own office, here. Also, like if we actually have companies inside Ertha, that means we will have some sort of functionalities that are created. So if you actually generate, let's say some items from the blueprints, it will be done in one of these buildings that you can see what we are showcasing, inside of these trailers. So, the idea is really wide. We have we've shot into the sky here to actually build this, but I don't believe that there are many other games out there that have, their like aspirations are that high that we are setting it to be. We are creating a second planet here with all the gaming elements. That is not only stuff that you will create your character and you will walk around a virtual world. It's not just that, it's not that you will only interact with those. We also want to bring like real game experience, like role-playing game experience into it. So that means you will create your own character. Without that, we also want to bring, economy inside this, which means we will have all the play to earn abilities, even like currencies inside our like little planet called Ertha. And even without that, we also bring a play to learn experience, which means that whatever you have as an knowledge inside the real world, you can use that to be better in Ertha, and the other way around. When you actually level up your character inside Ertha, that means you will learn new stuff and you can use that stuff actually in the real world. So, that's the idea of our metaverse. So
exactly. So this trailer is really a story of every single Earthian that could possibly live inside the Ertha metaverse. It's really the idea to make it possible for every single person to have a fully fledged life inside the metaverse by having a job, by having a partner, by having a home, by having a company, or whatever else is possible. And it really brings a lot of excitement to finally be able to just bring so much personality into Ertha with the upcoming character update and with this trailer that really shows what we're working on. So, besides the trailer, we want to also showcase some development leaks and information from the upcoming Ertha Beta version 0.2 update, which will exactly introduce characters into Ertha as one of its main features. So, should we look at the first one we have, Dennis?
Sure, let's do that.
All right, so just in a second, here on your screens, you are seeing the main Ertha character creation screen. Linus, could you explain what we are seeing?
Oh, yeah, this is also in development, so the feature version will be possibly not exactly the same that we're showing here. But, well, we are seeing all these stats that you will be able to change inside Ertha. You're seeing the like primary and secondary abilities that the character sees, and it's only a part of the experience that you will be able to customize inside Ertha. And it's like the template which you start with in the game, and all of these numbers might not mean much to you by looking inside the screen, but all of these go into math that we have behind, which makes it possible to make all the characters unique and to make them good at some parts, worse at some others, which is the way how the real world works. And you will have 24 points to create your own character. So that means you can use them to either be like average on everything, or maybe be like good at some specific feature that you want to be good on, but that means you will be worse on some other things. So that is like the balance that we want to bring into the game. So that doesn't mean that you will have a character that is like perfect in everything. It's like in real world, you might be really, really good at something, but that means that you possibly spend your time on doing that, and you didn't spend your time on doing different stuff. So that means you will not be that good on other stuff. So, yeah.
Of course. So what about these skills and abilities? Will they be able to be increased during playtime in Ertha? How would that look?
So some of these things will be fixed while you create the character. So for example, if you are a character that has let's say an ability or a strength to do something, like you are let's say strong as a player, it will not be that easy to change that later on. But however, there are different skills that you can do. So for example, there's a skill of your ability to use chemistry inside your work, and that skill can be assigned while you create your character. But if you don't, you will be able to level up that skill while you play the game. So and this is only one example of many things that we will present. And the idea behind it is to actually enable role-playing inside our game. So that means we want everyone to be able to have their own unique experience inside here, and to create a character the way they either are in real world, or the way they aspire to be, or whatever thing that they want to test inside a metaverse. So that's the idea.
All right, wonderful. And personally, I really like this screen. So, but like you said, things are still being adjusted. So it's probably not the exact final version. People will see a few weeks from now when the Ertha beta version 0.2 launches, right?
Yes.
So, all right. So let's show off some of the characters that we were already able to create in the Ertha metaverse with this new character creation system. So here we go. The first one. Here you can see somewhat of a military / SWAT / VR officer. So could you maybe talk about him? Maybe you know his name or something like that?
Well, this is the preview of what we can do inside our character creation screen. So it also includes some items that he has on himself. That doesn't mean that when you create a character you will own those items, so this is what you can look like if you have let's say a military equipment and a VR headset on you. However, while you are in game, you will actually have to go and create those items inside the game, or either buy them from someone else who created them, since everything inside the game is not popping out of nowhere. Somebody has to spend their energy to actually create. So this is one of the examples of what can be done, and I really like the outcome that we can do here.
All right, wonderful. And then moving on to the next character we have, it's a girl character, maybe your standard Ertha that we'll see around in the Ertha hexes.
Exactly. So this is an example of a female character inside the game. You will be able to select whether you want to be one or another, and this is a customized character, again, with some sort of clothes on them. So with the update that we are releasing, we will release a part of these, clothes that are available to finish the character creation. Some of them will be special ones, unique ones that we will later on give to our, either, let's say, landowners or our old members of the community. And we also will make it possible for others to maybe buy these, or let's say have a marketplace where others can sell and buy from other people.
Exactly. That all sounds really interesting, and well, it's really not that far away when you think about it. During this year, we'll see plenty of exciting new and wonderful updates that are going to come to the Ertha metaverse, and well, Ertha beta version 0.2 is one of the first of them. So all right, so I think we've discussed enough about the upcoming update. So should we move on to our AMA?
Let's do.
All right, so
I really like to talk with the community, so.
All right, wonderful. So again, the update is coming in just a short few weeks' time, and to find out the absolute full extent of the update, you'll have to tune into the stream next time. And in just a few moments, we'll start our AMA segment of the live stream. Make sure to stay tuned, because you will be able to win Ertha token prizes for submitting questions at the end. And at the end of the stream, we're also giving away an Ertha NFT hex to a random viewer. So now, the AMA format this time is going to be different from our previous AMAs. All of you will have a chance to submit a question, and then all of you will have a chance to vote for the questions you want to be answered. Linus will answer the 10 most upvoted questions, and the top 3 questions with the most upvotes will receive 500 Ertha tokens each. For the AMA, we'll be using a tool called Slido. To join, all you will have to do is click the event room that we'll post in the chat. So just click the link, and you'll be sent straight to where you need to be. Make sure your questions are clear and concise, straight to the point. Also, make sure to input your Discord username when submitting your questions. Otherwise, we won't be able to tell who submitted the questions, and, well, you won't be able to claim the prize, so the questions won't be accepted. Then finally, click thumbs up on the questions you want to see answered. Just give me a moment to link the room in the chat.
Indeed.
And then you'll all be able to join. There you go, guys. You can see the link in the chat. I'll post it a few times. Basically, all you have to do is connect, enter your username, and submit a question. Make sure, again, that it's clear and concise, straight to the point, that we know how to answer it without putting too many words in. And then, of course, don't forget to input your Discord username into the username section. All right, so let us know when you've already opened the link, and just to see if everything works. We'll wait for a few questions, and then we'll go into a short intermission for you all to have the time to submit and upvote the questions you want to see answered. Is the room working fine for you guys? Just let me know in the chat. Yep, I already see a question popping up, so it looks like everything is working. All right, so we'll just head straight into a 5-minute intermission, and we'll be right back. We'll answer the questions after, and we'll also give away an NFT hex at the end of the stream. So post your questions, and see you in a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Thank you for submitting your questions. All of you still have time to vote and submit your questions, so keep on doing that. We really want to see the top 10 shine and get as many upvotes as they possibly can. So in just a few seconds, I'll first show the presentation on the screen. And there we go. Let me just give a few moments to line it up. We have 39 questions, which is quite amazing to see. That's quite awesome. Okay, and there we go. The first question has nearly 14, well, has exactly 14 upvotes, so that's nice to see. So I think we'll start from the bottom. Linus, what do you think? So the top 3 questions that are going to get Ertha token prizes still have time to, switch around and really get the most amount of upvotes that they can receive. All right, so let me just count out 10 questions. So going from the top, this is the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9, and 10. All right, so the number 10 question with 3 upvotes comes from President Pingu Lin, and he wants to know if the game reaches a dead end for... Hold on, his question just disappeared. Okay, he got enough votes. So, if the game reaches a dead end, for example, one group or alliance dominates the entire Ertha world, would it be possible to reset and start all over again? So what do you think about that?
Yeah, it is a difficult question to answer because we don't yet have an experience on what would happen in that way. But from my mind, what I think what would happen in that way is that I don't think that would require a reset for the game. It's really hard to keep the whole Earth under control of one military, of one country, because not all players will be happy about it, and when they join into an alliance, they might be able to reconquer the lands that were previously conquered by one country, and then start a new country, or revive the one that was already defeated. And if for let's say one country has such a great economy and so many good ideas on how to actually control the world, maybe Earthians are better off living, with that country, and they want that country to be ruling the world. So we are giving an ability for players to choose for themselves what they want the world to be. So I really think that it will be an interesting experience to see on how all of that will play out.
All right, sounds great. Moving on to the next question, which is just below that, from Furkonika. I definitely didn't pronounce that correctly, so I'm sorry about that, but it's, of course, a bit difficult when we have such a large international community. But anyway, they want to know, what about the Moon project? How is the Moon connected to Earth? And, well, we've been asked this quite a few times, but I'm sure still some people aren't aware of how exactly it works. So could you explain one more time, please?
Sure. So we are a big game studio, which is called Three Towers Game Studio, and we are creating more than one game at certain times. We have different teams working on different games. So Moon is one of our upcoming, really exciting additions to our multiverse experience. We are calling it Solar Multiverse, since we want to create an ability for different metaverses to connect with each other. So this is a thing that I think is really important for a metaverse to be. It shouldn't be a closed system where you only have that one game and you only have that one, item, and you can use that in one game. Since if you own an item and you cannot transfer it anywhere else, what does that mean? How do you own it? So since the technology is not yet there to actually have an open metaverse to connect to any other game inside the universe, we are leading the space to create different kinds of metaverses that would potentially connect with each other. So Moon are our real good colleagues, which are creating the Moon project, and our idea is that it will be really, really interconnected with each other. So we will have not even, let's say, the same items that we can exchange between those servers. Your character itself can travel from Ertha to Moon and backwards. So that's why we have those portals inside, and that's I really believe that these will be used quite a lot inside the game. And not only that, we have resources, and some of the resources that are in Ertha, you cannot find those on Moon, but that means you will be able to get them from Ertha inside to the Moon. And there are some resources that we don't have here in Ertha, which are in the Moon, and you will be able to bring those back. That means quite a lot of possibilities to actually make money here. If that resource is really valuable, you can be the one who is the one that purchases it inside of Moon and brings it to Ertha, where it could potentially have like double the price, So, yeah.
Exactly. So basically, it's a good day. Any day is a good day to be a portal owner between the Ertha and the Moon, basically. So many economical opportunities in just the logistics aspect between the Moon and Ertha. It's really going to be quite amazing to see what the players come up with to play to earn and play to learn in the Ertha metaverse. All right, so let's move on to the next question, which comes from Mad Moriton, and they want to know, can we start to see some of these characters as NPCs in the Ertha Beta Hex, please?
It is an interesting request. Not sure how to answer that, because currently we are not planning to do that, and I can answer why. So we are working really hard to bring multiplayer ability inside our hex, so that, what essentially means that so that you could view another player while you're inside that hex. And it's not that of an easy task to do, especially when we're limited by the browser capabilities, and since we have a lot of moving parts inside the game. So for example, if you are looking at the car and there's another player in that city from another angle, and he's looking at the same car, they all have different internet connectivity, they all have different ping, and they might not get that information at the same time. So that means we have like multiple instances of players viewing the same city and having a bit different configuration of them, and we have to sync them all together and have all of those, like if something happens, for example a character gets let's say taken down by a car that is driving inside the street. So one player might see that it's it's not yet going so close that it would hit the character, and another player might see that the car is already away, and then we have to, let's say, sync it up and find the right solution. And there's where the question lies. If we add more moving parts such as NPCs inside of our game, that means we have more things to actually watch and sync with all the clients. And since we're still creating the game, we're trying to find the best performance, the best way to actually do that. So I believe it's a good idea to have those NPCs inside the game, but I don't think that you would actually want them to only stand in place and do nothing. You would potentially want them to walk around, do some stuff, like the cars. They actually follow the rules of the road. They follow the other cars, and they don't just randomly crash. Well, sometimes they do, but not all the times. So yeah, adding more moving parts would make multiplayer more difficult. So at first we want to go as far as to actually implement the multiplayer part inside the game, and then maybe we might add more moving parts when we see that all working together smoothly. So yeah,
sounds perfectly reasonable. All right, so moving on to the next question from an anonymous. They want to know where was the fifth code for the Gleam. So I assume they mean the Ertha Beta treasure hunt we launched. Personally, I have no clue. Maybe you do, Dennis, or how did that work?
Yeah, that is a cool question. Actually, our dev team is pretty, let's say, they don't actually show everything to us also, since we would have like an experience to watch it out. And to be fair, I haven't found it also, but it is there. So we could also, still look for it and find it.
So I can actually share some fun statistics with our viewers. Basically, we had 5 codes, and those codes were the codes that people have found were Our Fragile World. Then there was Find Your Destiny, Save Humankind. So these 3 codes were found a total of, each of them were found 700 times. Basically, they were entered 700 times. Then we had code number 2, which was Verge of Extinction. And that code has only been found 3 times. Only 3 people were dedicated enough to find it in the Ertha early beta. And then we had code number 5, and that code was Erthaverse Master, and that code has not been found. It is still out there. Of course, the Ertha beta treasure hunt has concluded, but it would be a pretty cool thing for someone to find it still. It's still out there. Tweet at us with the code if you do find it. Share it in Telegram, Discord, wherever. We're going to make a big deal out of it, because at this point it has become quite a cool thing that so much time has passed and our devs were so good at hiding it that it's still out there. So
Actually, if somebody do find that, tag me on Ertha Twitter, and I will personally send you some Ertha tokens if you do. So,
perfect.
Let's keep the treasure hunt open.
Exactly. Let's keep the treasure hunt going. Wonderful. All right. So moving on to our 4th question, if my math is good. Juan de Vox wants to know, what is the war system we plan to use, and can the winner of the war tax the loser? Really trying to translate here what they said.
Okay. So the tax thing is real. We have countries inside Erthaverse, and these countries have their own taxes. So the government that will be elected by the players of that country will be able to set their own tax system there. So wars will happen between countries. So that means that one country will be able to attack another country's hex. And if that happens so that the country wins that hex, the whole tax system of that country applies to that hex. That doesn't mean, that other players lose some buildings or something that are there, but if they have a company that actually employs other people and pays salary to them, the tax that they pay might pay from the country that actually wins the war inside that hex. And about the war itself, we are still looking for good ways to do that so that many players could participate inside such a huge event like war inside Ertha. And there are a few versions that we're trying out. We still don't have something that we would say that, yes, this is the thing that would be the war system inside Ertha. There is an example on the alpha version that is currently, I think it's still yet running well, that you can try with the training system where you have 1 versus 1 battle and you have like real-time ability to choose the actions that you do. And it all depends on your skills, on your ability, what your character does. And it's one of the versions that we're trying out on how it would look like. But since we wanted to make more multiplayer so that you would see more players around, first of all, we will solve the multiplayer problem, and then the wars will be much easier to solve after that.
Exactly. So basically, we're just choosing priorities in the development process. And like we mentioned already, based on community feedback, all of you want most of you, the vast majority of Earthians really want an Ertha client that can really bring Ertha to the next level. And of course, multiplayer functionality, because what other way to have a fully immersive metaverse than to see other players and interact with them inside the game. So, all right, moving on to our next question, which is a great question from Zups Q. He wants to know, is character creation one time only, or will there be a reset after main release?
Yes, exactly. That's a great question, because we are thinking about it. And the way we currently set it up is that since character creation is like really important part for your later on development in the game, we will have an item, a very special item that is really rare inside the game, where we will give to our early players of the game, which by consuming that item, you will be able to reset your character back into the character creation screen while still keeping your experience and stuff you leveled up with your character while you were playing the beta version. But it will allow you to again reset your stats, get the same 24 points which you can assign later on, and then you can use your whole knowledge that you gathered while playing the game, like what is exactly the thing that you want to be, and then that one time you will be able to get it right, and maybe some of the people will want to, let's say, resell those items or something like that, and they might have quite a value, so.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds awesome. So basically, the upcoming update where people will start to create their character and start to truly become part of the Ertha metaverse, it won't be locked in, so to say. People will still be able to change their minds, so they should not fear about just really being creative and creating the character as they seem fit currently. And if that changes sometime from now when we release the upcoming updates or things like that, or the full version of the game, they'll still be able to adjust and edit those things.
Indeed.
Exactly. So wonderful. Just a reminder for everyone that right after the AMA, we'll be giving away a $700 worth NFT hex. So make sure to stay tuned for that. It's all of our viewers are eligible. So moving on to the next question from Antonius. He wants to know, are you going to give players some governmental instruments which can change the economy system of a country? Or how deep do these instruments can impact the gaming, basically?
Well, the core idea of Ertha is to actually enable people to create their own country. That does require them to be able to control the government of the country. They will be able to select their own staff that they, vote for, like government officers who will then control several parts of the political model that is out there, and they will be able to elect their own president. And we are thinking of allowing them to have some sort of ability to have different kinds of democratic or let's say even monarchic abilities on our countries that they control. So depending on what player chooses, the one that is elected as the president, he will be able to tweak a bit the government system of his country in a way even become with a lot of power, or he gives that power to his own either all citizens of the country, where you can have votings like each day where every citizen is a part of it, or you have let's say government officials, like let's say 100 officials that are representing that country, who then vote for the other citizens who are living there. Or maybe the president is so good and or so bad, that he controls all decisions that happens in the country. But that doesn't mean it will be easy for him to regain that control if somebody doesn't like that. So yeah.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on into the top three. And just a reminder that the top three questions with the most upvotes, which you'll see here on the screen in a second, are receiving 500 Ertha tokens each. So let's just jump straight into it. The number 3 question is from Route Guru, and he wants to know, will it be possible for 2 players, to have kids in the game with their own energy? Really an interesting question.
That's a funny question. We don't yet think that thing is needed inside Ertha. But if for example, our community thinks that this is the thing that would be like really, really most wanted thing, what we need to develop inside of our game, maybe. But from our idea of how Ertha should look like, you are controlling your own character. So that means that you are someone inside the metaverse. It's not like you control kids or you control other stuff, like other players. So to answer that question at the moment, no, that's not what we think.
Yeah, that would be a little bit too much, you could say. People already having characters in the metaverse is, well, pretty much enough as it is. But again, these ideas can still be in the back of our minds, and we can always think about them later, much further down the road of development. All right, so the number 2 question comes from Kramito, or Kramito, and he wants to know, when are we going to be able to execute actions seen on the alpha? For example, studying.
Yeah, so first of all, let me just get some more information on this question. So we already have alpha version out, which has quite a lot of functionality in there. So we've been developing that alpha for quite some time from our own funds that we've, me and my brother, we both invested quite a lot of our own funds to actually do that. And with the funds that we've collected now, we've shifted our focus to actually develop a Unity game engine game, which we are doing now for several months. And this progress that we are presenting right now is the progress that we have over several months of development that we have here. And the version that we have, the alpha version there, is used as a design doc, as all the math is there, all the stuff that we've built there, we have that, but we need to integrate and rebuild that inside Unity. So I don't want to, say something that would not be correct in long term, but I think that sooner rather than later, you will start seeing some of these functionalities going in our beta version of the game.
All right, wonderful to hear. So let's go straight to the number 1 question, which comes from Jefe Guapo 13, and shout out to the Ertha Mafia. Of course, they have the clan tag everywhere they possibly can. So will you be able to build a city on an already existing portal on the water? Will there be water cities, or are the portals just in the center with nothing around?
So the hex is a big deal inside our game, and it's not like if it has a portal, it's not like it's only a portal. We will allow players to develop in it quite extensively, so you will be able to build buildings all around the globe, and that includes water hexes. But to actually build on water, you will have to get those like small let's say floating islands there to be able to build buildings there. We are still trying to find a good way to visualize that inside the game, but we have like the logic how we want it to be built. So answering that question, yes, the portal hexes will not only be portals, but we'll have other stuff like, for example, warehouses or companies or different types of buildings, whatever players feel they need close to the portal. And that includes all the hexes around the portal. And since like a hex by itself is not unlimited, it's the default hexes will contain a limited amount of space or slots where you can actually build stuff. So that means that even the hexes around an important hex makes sense, because not everything that you want will fit inside that one hex that you see. So yeah.
Yep, sounds interesting. So Congratulations to our winners, Jefe Guapo 13, Kramito, and of course, Route Guru. We'll contact you after the stream via Discord for you to claim your prizes. And alright, that basically wraps up our AMA. Thank you so much for the questions. Thank you so much for upvoting the questions you wanted to see answered. And I really hope you enjoyed this new AMA format where all of you basically were able to vote on what exact questions you wanted to be answered. So, alright, before we wrap up the event, we have one more thing to do, which is to give away a $700 worth Ertha NFT hex to our viewers. Basically, all you have to do to enter the giveaway is to type exclamation point NFT hex in the chat. After we receive enough submissions, a random winner will be drawn and announced in the chat. So let me just start the widget. And let me just show it on the screen. All right. And all of you should be able to type NFT hex, exclamation point NFT hex in the chat to enter the giveaway. And we'll do the drawing of the winner live. Just a few moments for you to do that. And actually, a good idea would be to, while all of you entered the giveaway, is to just play the Ertha trailer one more time. Our brand new Ertha trailer that really represents what we're working towards. So it'll just give you a few minutes to type in the chat and really just to get the mood into what we are supposed to be. So moving on to the Ertha trailer. Here it is one more time, the Ertha trailer premiere.
Welcome to Ertha. What you see here is a simulated world, one that can be a better version of the real world, that we almost destroyed with wars and ignorance. The first awakened from the cryosleep created it the way they preferred. Building real estate, selling it, or renting it out. I was born in Ertha, and I'm going to do things my own way. I'm going to succeed, and nothing will stop me. Or maybe I'll do it right after I settle down a bit. At least I can start off with designing my place the way I want. Or maybe the way we want. I'm going to work my butt off and earn enough to fulfill my vision of a new world. And nothing is going to stop me. Don't get me wrong, big city life, working in a company, or as a freelancer are all good options. But I always dreamed of luxury real estate. I know I'm really good at it. I'm going to be very successful. And guess what? Nothing is going to stop me. Someday I will see the real sky, but for now, I want to learn how to build the best world where I want to live in.
And we are back once again. That was the new Ertha Metaverse trailer that truly shows how we imagine Ertha to be and what we're working days and nights to achieve. So, just a few moments left to type exclamation point NFT hex in the chat. That's what you have to do if you want to enter this $700 Ertha NFT hex giveaway. And once you type it, you'll automatically be added to the competition. You don't need to do anything else. I will be having to just press the draw entrant button, and all of you will be able to see the winner on your screens. We already have 40 entries, so thank you very much for those. And just a few more moments. Anyone wants to type it in? All right, 42. Let's do a 43. Can I see a 43? Okay, I think everyone's in. Oh, even 40. Okay, there we go, 43. Let's draw our entrant, and let's see who won the $700 worth Ertha NFT hex. And their name is Pedro Fujital. Again, I'm definitely not pronouncing that correctly, but hopefully you won't get mad at me too much. So there we go. We have our winner. We will contact him or her later today or the day after. Basically, just keep your Twitch DMs open. We'll reach out to you there on instructions about how to claim your prize. So again, thanks everyone who participated. There will be plenty more of these events in the future, so don't be disappointed if you didn't win. Join us next time and you'll definitely have more chances. Again, we will contact the winner privately, so make sure to check your messages, Pedro. And okay, that concludes today's Ertha Development Update broadcast. Linus, do you have any final thoughts to say to our fellow Earthians?
Well, thank you all for great questions that you have on these AMAs. I'm really excited to answer them each and every time we actually do this live show. And I'm really excited for the next one that we'll do in a few weeks, from now. And thank you everyone for joining. You can all follow us on all of our social media accounts, and I will be waiting for that one person who will be able to find the 5th code of our previous giveaway. So you can just tag me in Twitter and let's find it, right?
Wonderful. All right. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Personally, I'm very excited for the Ertha Beta version 0.2 update, which is coming in just a short few weeks' time. Can't wait to create my own character, and I'm sure you all really feel the same way. So thanks again. Have a great morning, day, or evening wherever you are located, and see you next time. This is Ertha Metaverse signing out.